Hi, this is Bruce Buffer, and you're listening to the Brats and Beard Podcast.
Hello, tailgaters! How's it going out there? Woo-hoo. We're back for another episode of the Brats and Beers podcast. Try my best announcer voice there. What's up, guys? What are you guys doing?
Not a whole lot, man.
Nice, cool, fun stuff. All right, well, we're here. Another episode. What are you guys drinking? Cody, you still on your dry January?
So, yeah, I've made it. Yesterday was the best day for me to drink because, long story short, I ended up hurting my back in the gym. So I was laid up on the couch. I was watching the horrendous NFC Championship game with teams that we shall not mention. And I was just looking at the brandy and it was looking me back and I was like, not today, stop, Trojan. And I didn't drink. So all I got to do is make it through this work week and next weekend, and we're home free.
Wow, I'm proud of you, man. Good job.
Yeah, dude, that's impressive, man. You're killing it. Drew, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Bud Light, but I just wanted to mention that I felt like Sean this weekend. I drank a Dorothy's New World Lager. You guys ever heard of that before?
No.
Fucking Dorothy. Oh, yeah.
Toppling Goliath Brewing Company. It was pretty good. Apparently, it's getting popular.
Where's that from? Like Colorado or what?
I have no idea. I will look it up later, but it was good. So
nice.
What about you?
Drinking another one of those Fifth Ward 007s. I had one left in my fridge, so that's my choice today again. It's pretty damn good.
Awesome.
Loving it.
Awesome.
All right, I have another fun question. It sounded like a lot of people liked the one last week, and I thought it was pretty funny. So here's another good one for you guys. What vegetable would you pick for a fight against a 10-year-old?
Like, I have to use the vegetable against the 10-year-old?
Yes, that's your weapon against the 10-year-old.
This is easy. I'll let Drew go first.
Or maybe you should go first since you already know.
Let me think. I don't want to change my answer, but I might change my answer. No, fuck it. Give me a butternut squash because they're giant and they're pretty dense. So if I whack that dude in the head with a butternut squash, I think he's going down with one hit. It's not going to break open as easy as like a pumpkin or something. So if he doesn't go down, I got a few more hits before it starts breaking. And they got those big stems on there. So worst case scenario, I just give him a few stabs in the neck. Are we trying to kill him or just hurt him badly?
Just wound him so he won't like come at you again.
All right, yeah. So give me that squash. I get to pick the squash. I want a nice one that's not quite ripe, so it's still pretty solid. Yeah.
Drew,
Damn, dude.
Drew, what do you go with?
I'm going the exact opposite. I'm going to get some asparagus and I'm going to grill it so it's like how I cook my burgers, just completely burnt. I'm going to throw them like ninja darts right at that 10-year-old's throat.
So basically, we both killed the 10-year-old.
Wait.
We were just supposed to hurt him a little bit, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna use a large cucumber that I also pick out, and then I'm just gonna beat him. I'm also gonna eat the cucumber after because I love cucumbers, so I'm just gonna whoop him with it, and then eat the cucumber. So,
dang.
What about let me turn it on you. What if you had to pick a fruit? Fruits are the ones with seeds, right?
Well, I looked up. So eggplant, I think that's a fruit, right?
Those are pretty soft.
There's like a fine line between fruits and veggies. Kind of like tomatoes. That's a big dilemma.
Yeah. I mean, I looked it up and it said that an eggplant was considered a fruit, I think. So I thought about that, but fruit. Let's see here. Does Drew qualify as a fruit?
Hey!
If you could pick up Drew and throw him at a kid, I guess.
What about like I want some cantaloupes. If I can have multiple, I want cantaloupes and just whip them at them. That's what
give me some green apples, I think. Like I can throw pretty hard. So if you give me like a bag of 10 green apples and he's a good 15, 20 feet away, just let me try to pelt him.
Green apples. Why green?
I feel like those are just harder. Okay. Like if you get a Granny Smith, they're kind of smushy sometimes when they're not good.
Just because they're called Granny doesn't mean they're old and squishy.
I don't know what kind of grannies you've been touching.
I'm going to get a bundle of bananas and just make him chase me and keep throwing the peels behind me. Eventually he'll wipe out.
What about plantains? You can do a little bigger, cover a little more surface.
What's that?
Is that what they're called? Plantains? They're like I really don't know what they are. I just know they're larger looking bananas.
I thought they were smaller bananas.
No, they're like huge, I think. They're like double the size.
I'd throw some cuties at him too and just kill him with kindness, you know?
That is true.
Sean's size chart is a little different than ours. Like normal bananas are small to him.
I love it. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that one. Let's do some tailgating. So first off, I will stay away from NFL for the time being, I guess. First off, UFC. Did you guys watch any of the fights this weekend? There was the big Conor versus Dustin fight. Did you guys see that?
I had seen the highlights. I did not pay for the pay-per-view, but the day after I watched through the highlights. Pretty good fight.
Nice. Yeah. Drew, did you watch them at all?
I did not, but I thought it was really weird. Did Conor look different to you?
Yeah, it's because his head shaved. He just looked older because of that, I think. I don't know. It was just weird.
I guess that's not what I mean by look different. Like, did he move slower than normal? Like, was he ready to lose? Is that what the whole thing was?
Yeah, he seemed like a different Conor coming into it. So he seemed like more humble. He wasn't bragging as much. It was almost like he knows he's
done.
Not the same or something. Yeah, I mean he hasn't
right, because when they did the weigh-in, he was shaking his hand and was really nice and polite. It was weird to see.
He only has 2 wins since 2016. It's been a while. He beat Cowboy, but that was fighting your grandpa with a cucumber. And he so before that it was 2016 before he had a big fight like that and won. So I don't know. He just looked slower. I knew he doesn't have a gas tank. He's notorious for that, but it really was on display. He was all saying too, because Dustin was if I get him into the second round, I just want to drag the fight out because I know I'll beat him that way. And then he, of course, came back and he was yeah, I hope the fight drags out. But halfway through the first round, you could tell he was just beat.
Sure.
But also Dustin apparently broke his leg from leg kicks. So I think that took a toll too. I think he was really feeling it.
Oh, he broke his leg?
Yeah, that's what Conor said after the fight. He said he walked up to him and backstage and he was "You broke my leg, motherfucker." And he was limping. So I don't know. But yeah, he got him with some good leg kicks. He was limping, but then he just had no gas tank. He was so freaking slow. Yeah, I think McGregor's done. He'll obviously pull money for other fights, but he's washed.
Yeah, cool.
There was a dude right before him who fought though, Michael Chandler. He's fucking crazy. He's he's a really good fighter, just insane, knocking dudes out. So I'm excited to see him coming up. He should get one of those title fights soon in that division. So let's see here. College basketball. Drew, rough weekend. Wisconsin had a rough weekend. We had a loss against number 15 Michigan. I believe Iowa had a loss on Friday or Thursday.
Wasn't good Friday night. Lost to Indiana. I bet on it and I lost, and it's time to move forward.
Was that one of your, what did you call those bets where you just bet a lot to win a little on the winner?
a
Randy bet.
Did you do that?
I luckily only put $10 on it. So
nice. Well, they only fell to number 7. I think the Badgers are at 14 with the rankings today. So
who did they lose to? I didn't see it.
Michigan, number 15 Michigan.
And now Michigan's out of sports.
Michigan looks good.
Yeah.
Michigan looks good.
They have an impressive, I forgot what it was, but they're 5-0 or something against their last top 15 ranked opponents, or it was something ridiculous, 6-0. It was something ridiculous, but they play well against good teams. NHL, the Knights are the number 1 team in the league right now based on points and records, so that's pretty awesome. Wild, I think they're up there. I think they're only a game behind right now, but so they're playing pretty decent. NBA, you guys got anything in the NBA? I heard
big letdown by the Milwaukee Bucks here recently, huh?
Yeah, a little bit, man. They won yesterday, was it? Or Saturday?
Yeah, yesterday? They beat Atlanta with the without Trae Young.
Yeah.
And they didn't cover their spread, so
that's considered a letdown.
What was the spread? 10?
19.5.
Oh.
The Heat are apparently going to be using COVID sniffing dogs to smell their fans as they enter the arena, and then we'll turn them away and give them a refund if they don't pass the sniffing dogs. I don't get how you can train a dog to smell COVID. Makes no fucking sense to me. But
honestly, dude, I've seen dogs do some crazy stuff. There's a disorder called POTS where it's usually in adolescence and early teens where you just like faint without any sort of signs, like pre-signs. And there's dogs that are trained to bark at you before you pass out. Like you yourself can't tell you're going to pass out, but the dog knows you're going to pass out. And there's been stories of dogs smelling cancer on people and stuff. It's weird. I mean, it's all real applicable things, but like, how the hell do they smell COVID? Who knows?
Let's see here in the NFL. I know I said we're not going to touch too much because I want to talk on it a little later in Cody's corner as well. But anything that kind of jumps out to you guys? We don't have to really touch the Packer game yet if we don't want to, but I think the Chiefs are going to win it all.
Chiefs are good.
They're just
I got to say one thing. I saw this video. Buffalo Bills fans are different. They're a different breed. I saw this video of a supermarket in Buffalo. They're like putting pins in a fucking Pat Mahomes cutout for like a free like discount.
What the hell? It's for a discount?
Yeah, it's like manager special. Check out hunger. I can't read it. Put a pin in Mahomes. Let's go Buffalo.
That's funny. They're also selling like folding tables in like the sporting goods sections of stores. And then I saw a Buffalo Bills fan just beat cancer, and then like his celebration of beating cancer, he got on a stool and he jumped through a table. That's pretty sweet.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of the table fails this weekend too, where they're jumping off the back of a bus and just completely missed the table and just lands on his ass. I'm like, that's gotta suck for the rest of his life. It's gonna hurt probably.
Yeah, right.
It was worth the video though, man. We'll get 500 views and all right, well, we can move on, head into the first quarter if you guys want, if you don't have anything else.
Let's crank it out. Wrap it out, bro.
All right, so first quarter. Let's discuss the difference crowds make at games. I mean, a lot of people have been saying like more away teams are winning now, and there's just like some sort of advantage, or I guess it's more equal. And I looked up some stats. Did you guys find any stats on this? I don't want to steal anyone's thunder.
I did, but go ahead.
What was the topic again? I was daydreaming.
Discussing the difference crowds make at games and like away teams winning more. Home teams are 127 and 128-1 this season. First season ever with it being under 500. And home teams have outscored opponents by 14 total points this season overall. So that's 0.05 points per game, which is the second lowest ever. Drew, what did you find? Did you find same stuff, or what were you finding?
Yep, that's exactly that. And I think that's crazy that's the first time ever
that's insane.
That they've been below 500.
Insane. And Vegas has favored home teams by 1.06 points per game, which is also the lowest ever by a large margin. Which is another crazy stat. So it just goes to show you how important having those home crowds is.
Yeah, I found those exact same stats that you guys did when I was doing my research. But the question is, there's some stadiums that allowed like 3,000 or 5,000 fans. Did that affect it at all? Is that enough to make a difference? Versus like Green Bay, like at Lambeau, they didn't have any fans all season. So obviously that's one of the fanless stadiums. But do you think a couple thousand can make a difference?
I think at a certain point.
I was looking that up actually, Cody. So the normal decibel levels are like 80 to 90 decibels. And if you're exposed to that for more than 8 hours, you'll get ear damage, or like a half hour of Leslie Jones or Kanye West. But this year it was only around 70, even with the crowd noise that they pumped in with it. So a little bit of a difference. But I got a shout out to Nora Princiati from The Ringer, because this is where I got most of my data from. I don't want to be a plagiarism, but I like how so the two Chief losses this year were at home, which I find pretty crazy. And then the Jets beat the Rams in LA, which I'm sure LA was glad the fans couldn't be there for that. And I got other stats here, but what do you guys got?
As far as stat wise, I mean, those are mine. So I mean, what else do you have? But I mean, like, obviously it makes a huge difference. Like if the stats kind of prove it almost.
So the question is why?
I mean, I think it's like a mentality thing, whereas like I'm sure even like coming out of the tunnel and things like that, like you're more hyped when you're seeing like the fans, and like it's just like a different atmosphere and you're just playing different. Like I'm sure like after you make a big play, like when you get up from a sack and you like look up and there's nobody in the stands and like no real noise, like that's gotta suck. Like I'm sure there's just a lot of those instances where like there's big plays or big hits or whatever, and it's just like it's kind of like deflating. But yeah, I'm guessing that's why, and I guess like it's easier to hear play calls, things like that, as far as like being in the away team. Like you don't have to go into Seattle dealing with their whole freaking stadium, like breaking decibel records, and you're trying to get in plays and you can't hear shit. So, I mean, you look at it that way as far as just a noise and away team advantage. I mean, that seems kind of obvious.
Right. So kind of like what I was seeing was like both ways. Like the away team also likes to silence the crowd, and there's no way of doing that. So you have no steam or momentum when that happens, and then vice versa. Obviously, when the home team on defense is just going crazy, like you said. One game that got brought up was the Saints versus Packers. There was like 3:49 left, 3rd and 3 from 30 and 27. Demario Davis jumps on Aaron Rodgers' hard count, and he basically said after the game, he's like, any other time we played, he wouldn't even have been able to hear me do that. And they got a pass interference call. I think they won that game. But yeah, you're looking at 748 fans versus 75,000.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, like I think there's a limit. Like Cody, when you asked that question about like just letting some of those fans in, like when teams are letting like 1 or 3,000 or something, like yeah, there's gonna be some little bit of noise, but at that point they're still pumping in crowd noise. So like it's still not the same. Like I think it has to get like above 5,000, 7,500, I'm guessing, like to like make some sort of impact. But I don't know. What do you think, Cody?
I think the way it is like obviously there's momentum. Momentum's real in any game, whether there's fans or not. But when you play that spectator role into it, it just makes it that much worse. Like, say you're a receiver wide open and you drop an easy touchdown, like that hurts. That hurts inside. But then you have all the fans booing and laughing at you. It's like you're gonna bury your head in the ground after that. It's gonna mess your head up the rest of the game. So, with that being said, I don't know where you're going with this, but what do you think that's gonna do with Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl?
Are they going to let people in? I mean,
I think
Florida.
there's like
Florida has no
like,
rules, so
they said it's 7,500 vaccinated Tampa Bay citizens.
With that being an away team, can they shoot off their cannon like the Raymond James? You know how they have that pirate ship with the cannon? Do you think they can shoot that off?
Yeah, I have no idea but it's like if it's 7,500 citizens of Tampa Bay, you think that any of them are going to be rooting for the Chiefs?
Also, like fuck the NFL for putting that situation even like fathomable. Like anytime there's like a decent team that like has a chance, like anybody in the top 10, like potential for that upcoming season, they should not let a Super Bowl team.
They did do it before Tom Brady.
Yeah, I know.
Came over, but
then they just got to change it, Then we're playing at the Dolphin Stadium, man. Just move it down the road.
Jacksonville.
We know they're not.
That's got to be a huge advantage, though. Anywho.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I don't know. I still think the Chiefs will destroy them, but yeah, I can't even imagine that.
So a few other things are like we know how fans get yelling at the refs and stuff. And I think this year, I didn't look at what the stat was for like the calls against away teams and stuff. But like you have to, I'm assuming that it gets heavily not favored. But like if the fans are just screaming at the refs nonstop, they're gonna probably be biased eventually and make calls and stuff, which I don't think happened. That's more in soccer, I think, but not so much for this. I don't know. And then lastly, like away teams, it's a lot different than 20 years ago. We have iPads, we have all this technology where they can sit there and study on the bus or the plane or whatever and do all this stuff. Before it was like, oh, you were in the locker room and then you have piece of papers, and it's really not that much of a difference anymore with away teams.
Yeah. I mean,
in terms of preparation
with the player, like, or with like the ref biases and stuff, like getting yelled at from the fans, I'm sure they just love it. Like all they have to deal with now is just the players. I'm sure they enjoy that a little more. But
yeah.
Have you guys seen anything in terms of which way it's trending? Has it been coming closer to 500 over the past year?
It was 132, 123, and 1.
See, so it's not far off. It only affected a handful of games, 4 or 5 games, but I think it's just trending that way. Maybe because of technology, like you're saying, Drew, that away team has, the ability to study while they're traveling. And travel these days, I mean, it's not that hard. Sitting on a plane with all the leg room you want, and
riding first class. In week 14, Baker actually had to silence the crowd so he could make his play call.
Well,
settle down, 750 of you.
That's because once everyone starts booing, like it gets pretty loud in there. It was just his girlfriend too. She was just yelling at him.
Do the laundry or whatever he's always doing those commercials.
Yeah. Can you turn your video games down, you piece of shit? That's what she says to him.
Oh, okay.
All right, you guys got anything else here? I mean, obviously stats are trending that way. I guess we'll see like once fans are allowed back in, once we produce enough dogs to sniff everyone going into football games and we can get fans back in. Let's see if it trends back the other way or if it kind of stays even. We'll report back to you guys a couple of years. Second quarter. Are we done there? Let's do it. All right, second quarter. What are your guys' favorite sports bars that you've been to? And do you like going to like any bars, or do you personally like going to bars to watch games like with other people, like random people, like a big group of friends? Like, I guess what's your guys' preference on that?
I'm kind of torn with it. It depends on the crowd, I guess. Depends on the sport too. I think it's easy to have a good time at a sports bar, or if it was just like a group of close friends at home with beer and some food, that's just as fun for me. So I guess it really depends. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it does depend on the bar and like who I'm going with. If it's a large group, like I don't mind it, but like there's some places you go to watch games and it's just like there's obnoxious people around you, like and sometimes I'll want to hear it unless it's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Like sometimes I want to hear the commentary, but yeah.
And it's like the chances that you get sat at a really shitty angle to the TV and it's a sport that you really want to pay attention to every play, that makes it tough too.
There's also times I like freak out, like, and it's probably like embarrassing for like other people from the outside world to like see. So like I might not want people to see that.
I
disagree.
I disagree, Sean. That's all a part of it. That's all a part of it. Like you're
last,
going to watch games, you got to freak out.
Like last night when that flag came out, I went insane, and my cat just stared at me real funny. So that was the only person judging me, I guess.
You're probably gonna die soon, man.
Might.
So I don't like to watch sports at Chili's because they have a 2-drink max and you could be banned. But I do like going to Buffalo Wild Wings, even though I gotta admit Buffalo Wild Wings is kind of going downhill to me. I'm not sure why. I don't know if the food's just not as good or the atmosphere. I don't know. But
dude, I tried to go to one the other night and on Saturday night, and I was like, oh shit, it's probably gonna be packed because the fights. Well, they weren't showing the fights anyway. Walk in and they probably only have like a fourth of the tables open and like 2 spots at the bar. So everything was taken and like it wasn't even full, like at all. And they were like, yeah, you can wait 30 to 45 minutes for the next table. I was like, you can kiss my ass. And then I went to Culver's. And same shit there. There was a line into the fucking road. Dude, I ended up getting Little Caesars. It was terrible. But anyways,
you were going to watch the game at Culver's?
Dude, that's besides the point. But but yeah, I agree. Buffalo Wild Wings, like, something's going downhill about them.
Any bar that has pull tabs, I like watching the games at.
Oh, sign me up.
Let's see. College game day. It is fun to go to bars like what do you call those? Like an Iowa Hawkeye bars, what they call them in the cities or whatever. But they're just so fucking packed that like you can't get a drink. But it's fun to like yell at the TV and stuff. B-52s in Inver Grove Heights. That was always fun for me in Minnesota because it's all Vikings and there's TVs everywhere. So that was cool. I'll just throw off a few more quick. I looked at a list and actually Bar 508 in Minneapolis was on the list. I don't know if we've been there before.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been there a bunch. That's a Badger bar, actually. So,
is it?
Yeah, I went there for a couple big Badger games last season.
And then Stadium View in Lambeau was on the list too. So
that's on my list for sure, Stadium View.
And lastly, Sluggers in Wrigleyville. I haven't watched a sports game there, but there's a batting cage, so I'm counting it.
That's dope. I love any good sports bar with like activities. Like I know with COVID right now, it's like a little weird, but like even if it's like golden tee, if it's pool, if it's darts, like if it's if it's a little pop a shot, like some shit going on, like that's always a good time. Or even like shuffleboard. Shuffleboard's fun. Underrated.
I love shuffleboard. Very underrated. I think instead of the bigger bars like the Anduzzi's and the Stadium Views, I kind of like the little dive bars. Like if you're comfortable there, they do the quarter. You can pick a number and you can win raffles and free shots when the home team scores and little stuff like that. Kind of makes it fun. And it's usually not as packed as some of those bigger inner city bars. I like that.
Yeah, those ones are cool when you're like sitting there and they're just like, yep, you get a free green shot. And you're just like, what? All right.
Well, whatever this is, yeah.
Well, I think me and you went to go watch an Atlanta game somewhere in where you used to live, that little small town. We went to a bar up there to watch the Atlanta. I don't know if it was a playoff game or not, but they smoked the Packers. But I just remember, yeah, she like brought around shots when they scored, and I was like, oh, this is a nice surprise. I don't know what bar it was, but
That was in Pulaski, yeah.
yeah, Pulaski is great, great time. Howie's in lacrosse. Shout out to
Oh, yeah.
lacrosse. Even like we'd go to watch a lot of games there, but even just like if it's a brunch, just a great bar in general. But yeah, definitely an awesome sports bar. Brothers in Milwaukee can be kind of fun. Don't go there a ton for games, but I know it's got a pretty decent atmosphere. Same thing with like Loaded Slate down there. Loaded Slate's kind of small, but still fun. And then the sports page, man, North Prairie. If you guys don't know where North Prairie, Wisconsin is, look it up. Sports page is probably on some lists out there, but that's a little dive bar. You know, it's a good time in there. It's a good time in there.
And Pete,
Sean, what was the name of that bar? When you were living in California, we went to that bar to watch that Badger game. Where was that? You remember that time?
Yeah.
It was fun, but it just gets so freaking crowded. It's like if you're waiting on a beer, that
was
could be an issue.
Yeah.
And it was a tough game for us to watch. Like,
found like the one Badger bar in like fucking LA and went to it, and it was just packed as fuck. We were like sitting outside, could barely see a TV, and I think it was Ohio State. It was a big Ohio State game, and they beat us.
Badger,
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
But that's the one drawback. It's like if you want to get a beer, it can be a headache. Overly crowded, so you can't hear the TV all the time. It's fun.
I just went to that new Mecca place in Milwaukee. They have like that huge TV. They have like one huge TV and then like a shit ton of other ones, and it's right across from Pfizer Forum. That was my first time there. I went there on Friday, and it's pretty awesome. Like the big TV though, like we were sitting right at the bar. It was almost like too much. Like I never watched it like once. Like I was watching all the other TVs, and like that it like hurts your neck, and it's just like too many spots on the TV to look at. Like you can't see the play.
Can't focus.
Yeah, it's just too big.
It's because you're too tall, Sean.
But they have like an upstairs with like a cool overlook, so like that big TV would be perfect for that. But shout out to their old fashions too, by the way. Made me feel like complete shit. I only had a couple, and they did something to me. So I don't know what they did. My buddy Ryan had two, and he's like, he didn't wake up till 11, and he said he was like feeling like shit. Like I woke up and I wanted to puke. Like I was like sweating, dude. Something was in those. It was not a regular.
Yeah, it wasn't the 20 shots you had before it.
I was not taking shots, man. I swear to God. And Ryan, I can vouch for him. He literally had two of those, and those were his only two drinks. And he's like,
that was it.
Yeah, dude. I was like, and they were on. Like, so I don't know what they were, but they were like I think they were $3 or $4 old fashions. So we're like, oh, a deal. Cool. Let's do it. But something was not right about those, man. They were good, but some didn't sit right.
Yeah. Told me, I'm in.
Yeah. Let's go to the Mecca, get some old fashions. You guys got anything else with the bars?
My last thing is, I went to this bar in Colorado. It was during March Madness, and they had like basically just an open court to shoot a basketball, and I thought that was fucking awesome. Like obviously you have to go share the ball and stuff with everyone, but like I love shooting and drinking, whatever.
Yeah, there's a place in East Troy. It has like an outdoor hoop with like a net around it and shit. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. Should we jump into halftime?
Yeah, it's going to halftime, guys. Let's give Cody's buddy Joe, I think his last name is Mama, right, Cody?
Yep, Joe Mama.
Joe Mama. Let's
I
give him a
believe
call.
He was born and raised in Wisconsin, but he's a citizen of Minneapolis now, so good split.
Nice. Well, we'll play some big three with him here. We got three good topics for him, and let's go ahead and give him a call.
Hello,
Joey.
What's up?
What up? It's Cody from the Brats and Beers podcast. How's it going?
Right, how we doing?
We're doing good. You're on with Drew, Sean, and myself. You ready?
What's up, Joe?
What's up, fellas?
You ready for a little trivia?
From Minnesota?
Drew's from Minnesota, born and raised.
Oh, really? Right on. Cool.
So he likes all the same shitty teams you do.
Oh, nice. Like me.
What's that? Cool. All right, Sean, you got the topics? I forgot them already.
Yeah, we can start it here. Can you hear me fine, Joe?
I can hear you, bud.
All right, cool. All right, so the first one, we're going to start it in 3 seconds. The first one in 3, 2, 1 is going to be name 3 Wisconsin quarterbacks.
3 Wisconsin quarterbacks. Ever?
Yep.
Yes. Badger quarterbacks.
Okay. Don Majikowski, Daryl Bevel, and we'll go with Russell Wilson.
All right. Name 5 Vikings wide receivers of all time.
Of all time. Oh, okay. We'll go. Well, that's nice and easy. We'll go with Jake Reed, Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Justin Jefferson, and Adam Thielen.
All righty. Name 7 current Timberwolves players.
Okay, 7 current Timberwolves players. All right, we'll start on the line with Ricky Rubio, Malik Beasley, Jared Culver, Anthony Edwards, Carl Anthony Towns, and then Jake Lehman, and we're going to go with the Wancho, Herman Gomez.
Got it. All righty.
Well, you didn't have to murder it so bad.
Crushed it, dude. I had you at 1 minute and 4 seconds.
1:04. Well, I think what we're going to do is we do this throughout the whole season, and then we have a tournament at the end of the year. Winner of the tournament, we give away some merch or some sort of a prize. So I'm sure you're going to qualify with that.
I don't want any Packer gear.
Oh, it'll be podcast gear or a really big airhead of Aaron Rodgers, probably.
I saw some Vikings clothes in the garbage next door. I'll take it out and send it to you.
We'll give you Kevin King.
Oh, he's already on waivers? I thought the Buccaneers were going to pick him up.
Yeah, as a wide receiver.
Wonderful. We'll take him. My secondary needs all the help they can get.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks for participating. We'll give you a ring at the end of the season here when we tell you what place you took.
Awesome, fellas. Be good.
All right. Take care, Joe.
All right. Thanks,
Thanks,
man.
Joe.
Went old school with some of those names.
I know. Wait, was Don Majkowski, was he a Badger quarterback? Is that who he said?
I don't
Yeah.
even know who that is.
Damn. He was like the old quarterback who was the quarterback before Brett Favre. Should we run on over to quarter 3, boys?
Do it.
It's race.
All right, the third quarter. Cody's corner.
Cody's corner.
Cody, is it still
Third quarter.
corner or corner? How's the bets going over there?
I took the weekend off. I was a casual sports fan this weekend. You know what I did, though, is I took the money I was going to spend on betting, and I bought stock in the company that I run most of my bets through.
Probably smarter.
It's called no, they own Barstool now, or Barstool runs their betting through them.
Oh, is it
Penn National Gaming.
Yep, Penn, yeah.
So I took my money, I threw it right into there, got my stocks purchased today, and they took a 5% hit. So pretty much just like betting, except for I don't lose the entire lump sum of money, just little bits at a time because I show financial interest in something and it goes to shit. So that's where I thought I'd be smarter than the average person. Like, don't buy the product, buy the company. So
You gotta wait
Yeah.
for the dips, man. You gotta wait for the dips. Back in like March or April, I was reading about Penn, and they were saying like buy them now, they'll have a spike, blah blah blah, it'll go up. And like, dude, like a week ago, they just had like some insane like 25% spike like in a day.
yeah, it went up like 300% since November, because I think that's when they took over Barstool's online portion.
Oh yeah,
But
See,
they
should've
still
bought
deal
that.
with the casinos and the tables and everything, which is shut down right now. So that's still expected to take an uptick once this COVID stuff is a thing in the past. I'm hoping so. We'll see. But
Just sit and wait.
other than that, I was going to lay it all on the Packers in the over, and I am glad that I did not.
Yeah.
Did you guys bet on that game?
I did not bet on any of the football. I didn't bet on it like anything. No, I didn't.
All right, let's go to Drew's corner. Drew, how'd it go?
Tell us how much you won.
All right. Well, Friday night I was 4 for 6. I picked Minnesota with the spread, the Wolves. Can you believe that, against Atlanta with Trae Young, and they won that. I picked the
What was
Suns
the spread there? Underdog?
25.
-6.
They were
Atlanta-
favored?
I could be wrong about that. Maybe I wrote it down
I
wrong.
thought
That
you
doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I was like,
Well,
damn.
Well, they were at home. I don't know. Anyway, I took the Suns minus 5.5. I took the Pacers plus 4.5 because or took the Magic against the Pacers plus 4.5 because Evan Fournier was back. They won that, and then I took Denver minus 10. Obviously, I lost the Iowa spread. and I lost the Pelicans. But the one thing I want to tell you guys about is on my DraftKings sportsbook. You guys can't do that in Wisconsin.
No.
Damn.
No.
They do like this like odds boost thing. So you opt in, and this is what they gave me, you guys. Over half combined touchdowns scored in any conference championship game yesterday.
What?
Over
That's
0.5 combined touchdowns scored in NFL conference championship games. 124. And they
What?
gave, and so they normally that's minus 10,000 odds. They give it to you at plus 100.
What?
Yeah, but you can only bet $25 on it.
Oh.
But that's
So
just
it's
free
giving you a
money.
little
That's
boost
free
to your
money,
account.
yeah. That's
So
free
it's
money.
It's free money.
They do it all the time, and it's like just as long as you keep paying attention, just keep going.
That's free money.
Wild. That's like free money they're giving you.
Dude, if you had money that was free, it would be that.
I don't get it.
What would you do if you put $25 on it and no one scored a fucking touchdown?
Just fucking 35 field goals all weekend.
If that happened, I'd have to freaking start putting money down on Penn.
Just buy the company. Dude, that's free money.
That's insane, though. That's pretty awesome. I'm kind of jealous that you have that.
And I think I'm opting out of the Bovada game. It's just way too many fees. It's like if you put in 100, you got to end up paying 112, and then there's an international transfer fee of like $12.95 through your credit card company, and then to withdraw money, there's restrictions. I'm gonna wait, I think, until either DraftKings or FanDuel comes to Wisconsin. It's got to do it eventually. Otherwise, I'll just try to find a bookie and have them break my knees.
There's the fee of like them stealing your bank account information and all that shit too. So
That's my favorite fee. That's why I use Brianna's credit card number. I can actually, if you guys want to use it too, let me read it on air here.
Yeah, what is it?
So,
The one bet I had, it was how many touchdowns will be scored on Kevin King, and I had 3.5 over. And I took that, I won that. So
dude, but the odds were garbage on that. It was only like minus 100. So.
it was minus 800 because they knew it was gonna happen.
Are we gonna talk about that game?
All right. So one thing I want to talk about real quick, we can dive into that too, but along with like betting and everything. So I don't think like I don't think I can bet on like NBA or like any of that shit. Like professional sports is too weird for me right now. So listen to this new podcast. I guess it's not new. It was like 2019.
Are we gonna dive into this? Are we gonna do this right now? Are we doing
we
this?
are. Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were gonna make a whole quarter of it, so I didn't do any research.
Oh, we're doing it right now.
Okay.
Well, I'm just gonna do like little touching point. I'm trying to get the guy who did this podcast onto the show, so I'm gonna try to get him on. His name is Tim Livingston, so shout out to him. He has a podcast called Whistleblower, and it's all about like the Tim Donaghy scandal. Like he got caught for reffing, and betting on games and fixing games and manipulating games. So basically, this whole podcast is about like talking to him. He was in with the Gambino crime family, so he's in with the mob. They're paying him on his payroll, along with other refs that they haven't named. There's just like insane amounts of stats about like, I mean, obviously he's betting on games, but he would also know like who, like he could look at a schedule for that night and see what refs are on which games, and he would know which way to bet it because he knows which refs have player biases and just how they ref games. So he would win 80% of his bets, and he said he wanted to lose every now and then just so it wasn't like crazy suspicious. But he was in with the mob, like they were just listening to all of his bets. And there's a difference, like they call it like rigging games is calling fouls that are phantom fouls, and then there's manipulating games, which is calling fouls or not calling fouls that are there, or just like playing it too by the book. And calling fouls that should be usually called, but usually aren't. So it's actually like not even breaking rules. It's just manipulating it in a way that most people usually don't. Kind of crazy. And they also like the NBA goes and tells their refs like it's an entertainment industry before a sports industry. They have different before every playoff game. They meet with the refs and talk to them about what they need to look for in certain games. Like if team's up 2-0, they'll be like, oh, watch for this in this game, which isn't necessarily telling them like let this team win, but it's more of like, hey, watch this so then this happens. And like there's crazy instances like the 0-2 Western Conference Finals was the Kings versus the Lakers. In the fourth quarter, the Lakers shot 26 or 27 free throws. which is absolutely insane. There was a during the Charles Barkley era, there was a game. The Suns ended up shooting 64 free throws in the game, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
They got 57 of their points from free throws in the game. And like, there's just, it's insane. It's insane. I'm like almost done with this podcast, and it's kind of ruining the NBA for me. Like, and they're talking about, do you guys know who Dick Bavetta is? Do you remember him? Like,
did he make that betting site?
No, he was like that really old ref. He like kissed Shaq on the lips. Remember that at that All-Star game? Do you remember that? They like were in a race and then they kissed on the lips. But he was like this really old ref. But he like everyone thinks that he was in on shit too, because like every one of his games there would be like crazy like stats and just like he's fucking shit up all the time. So yeah, it's really interesting.
John, I just want to say,
shout out to that.
I'm always for the conspiracy, and if one guy's doing it, there is 75% of them are doing it.
That's what he was.
Know it.
That's what he'd say. He's like, dude. He's like, the NBA. He said David Stern wanted to cover it up as a solo like man thing just to kill it. So he's like, yep. Tim Donaghy was the only one, isolated situation, just to kill the story. So that's how it was. And Tim Donaghy's like, dude, I know. He'd like. On the podcast, they're calling these guys and they're like, oh, who's reffing this game? And like, they even go to a Nuggets game and go bet $500 on the Nuggets to cover the spread. And this Scott Foster dude, who's like a notorious ref who like kind of fucks shit up and like is a wild card. It was at 5 points. It was a 5.5 spread, 5 points. Team misses a free throw. The other team gets the rebound. And I think it was Philly, and they're fouling Embiid. So it would have put him over the spread. He wouldn't call the foul. They fouled him for like 10 seconds. Wouldn't call the foul. Game ends.
What the
finished under the spread, and Embiid's an 80% free throw shooter. It's like shit like that is absolutely insane to me.
I know this like probably doesn't relate, but I think it was this weekend. Freaking Draymond, he was yelling at Weisman, and he got teed up for it and ejected. And they actually, after the game, went through it, and he's not going to get fined for it and stuff. But weird, huh?
Yep.
Isn't that weird?
The first interview of the podcast is with Rasheed Wallace, and he's talking about there was a game. He wasn't even near. I think it was Tim Donaghy. Yeah, it was Donaghy. Wasn't even near him. Like during the play, there was a foul called, and he's just like chilling over by coach. Donaghy tees him up. And then he's like, wait, what did I do? And he like goes over to question him, tees him up, and tosses him out of the game. And then he confronted him in the tunnel after the game. And he was like, hey, dude, he's like, what the fuck? He's like, I know what you're doing, man. I know what you're doing. And was like pretty much saying, I know you're cheating. I know you're fixing games. And NBA fined him $1.2 million for saying that. And then a couple years down the line, Joe Dumars, who I think was in the front office of the NBA at that time, I'm not sure though, calls up Rasheed while Rasheed's on vacation. He said, hey man, remember that 1.2 million? You were right, man. He was cheating. They didn't give him his money back though.
Yes.
Yeah, but it makes you feel good about it.
Didn't give his money back, but he's like, I fucking knew it. He's like, I knew he was. And then, I mean, Donaghy only went to jail for like 2 years or something, and he's back out doing his thing. Driving a Range Rover still, like obviously he's doing fine, but
Rasheed Wallace also earned $156 million in his career, so it's a drop in the bucket, but still.
I mean, he wasn't crying about it. He was just saying, like at that time, he's like, it like sucked. Like that's a lot of money just for confronting a guy who's cheating. It's like,
so what does that make how does that change your perspective on entertainment now?
Dude, just like what, like it's almost like the regular season and shit like doesn't like nothing almost matters. Like it sucks. Like as a sports fan, it's like they talk about how they don't want like small market teams to make it. They're like, they know they'll take a hit. They know that the casual fan in the playoffs doesn't watch until it's after game 4. So like if it's 2-0 in a series, like they'll try to swing it the other way as long as it gets to game 5, or game 6 gets more than game 5, game 7 obviously gets the most. And then that goes into TV deals too. So like with TV, if it's a sweep, that TV station or network is looking for make goods or payment of some sort to come back to them for those games that are missed. So it's all a fucking money entertainment industry. Like they're just looking for the money. They want to be able to pay out, give them the most for their sponsorships. And then it also helps with like re-signing them too. If they're getting all game 7s series, like they'll come back. So
I remember talking.
It just ruins it. It ruins it. I don't know.
We were
It's
talking
weird.
a few years back. I think it was during the touchdown interception. I think that game with the Seahawks and the Packers. And someone was looking through some sort of, it wasn't a contract the NFL had done, but something about their bylaws. And they said that they can alter game endings legally because it's their business and it's entertainment. And it's printed. Like they printed it for the public to see. And we're all still buying the fucking gear, betting on the sports.
Yep.
I also did read something. A sports bettor. He's an expert, whatever that means. But he bets on he doesn't bet on any major games. He bets on like the small, like say Charlotte's playing
Timberwolves.
someone, yeah, the Timberwolves. Like he'll bet on those games because that's just like two bottom dwelling teams or middle of the road teams that aren't going to be like, oh, we need this team to make the playoffs type of thing. And he said he's got a lot better luck winning those games versus betting on the Super Bowl or betting on the NFC Championship game because there's not as much money involved for the market.
Yeah. The thing is, like, with those, like, series, like, say in the NBA, if there's a 7-game series, like, if a team does go up 2-0, like, unless they're absolutely dominant and, like, the other team is just complete shit, like, and the refs can't control it that much, if it's, like, even somewhat close, like, if a team's down 2-0, like, it's almost like a no-brainer to bet that third game for that underdog, that team that's down. Like, if that's, like, the bias. But, like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy to hear that it's – and the thing is, like, it can't really be regulated. Like, it doesn't matter. Like they can do whatever the fuck they want. Like the refs,
right? Like Cody
work
said,
for them.
It's printed in the document.
You can't do anything. And like the point is like Mark Cuban is notorious for like yelling at like refs and like getting heated and saying that they're cheating all the time. And he's like, if the rules are the same for everyone, why do they need to have a meeting with the refs before every single game to talk through things they should look for and like different it's like, no, it's the same rules every game. It should be the same rules for everyone for every game, but it's not. And it kind of fucking ruins it. It's like, it's shitty, but it'll change your perspective. So Whistleblower, check it out, guys.
Sean, I want him on this podcast.
Dude, I'm trying, man. I just reached out to him today. It's not like he has like an insane amount of followers and shit. Like he's obviously doing shit on his end, but I think it's doable.
How many finals, NBA finals in the 68, 69 years of the NBA do you think there were?
How many what? I'm sorry?
Final sweeps.
Is it less than 5?
No.
Less than 10?
9. Yeah, so 9 out of 68 years or 69 years, which, I mean, that's two of the best teams, right? So you shouldn't expect a sweep. But still.
Think about how strong the West was for a long time compared to the East.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was for a while 2 different leagues. Like there's a lot of weird shit. Just listen to it, and then like I think about it. I'm like, why wouldn't that translate into the NFL? It's like you see that Packer game, and like there's holdings and pass interferences all game. Nobody's calling them. They're letting them play, which is great. Like let them play both sides, and then that last play of the game, a penalty flag gets thrown on the PI. Meanwhile, there's a holding in the backfield. Meanwhile, Murphy bunting bitch ass has been holding and pass interference. I hate that dude, by the way.
Me too.
He was doing that shit last week too, and just a shit talker.
Here's another stat. So since 1947 in the NBA, there's been 89 first round sweeps, which is only 27.8%. Which you think would be higher the first round, a top seed against someone who snuck in. So I guess that probably says a lot right there. Only 20% of semifinals have been ended in a sweep, 15% of conference finals and ending in a sweep. So it gets lower as the games get bigger, but also the quality of competition is a little bit higher.
It's yeah. I mean, like that Kings series, the 2002 against the Lakers, like to this day, like Chris Webber's pissed about it. Like he said something to Shaq. He's like, yeah, it was only 8-on-5. Like it was your guys' talent and some dirty ass refs. That's all it took to beat us and shit like that. But like Kobe Bryant elbows Mike Bibby in the face, breaks his nose in that game, gushing blood. They call a foul on Bibby. Like like I said, they shot 26 free throws in the fourth quarter, which is absolutely fucking unreal. And then they beat him in game 6 to take it to 7 and beat him back home in LA, or LA won back home. So
those refs aren't lucky. They're lucky that I wasn't playing because I'd make like 4 of the 26 free throws and I'd fucking just blow out the refs.
Me too, man.
The Bucks would be undefeated this season from the refs helping us, but Giannis misses all his free throws.
They're trying. They're like, man, you gotta shoot better than 55%. We're trying to help you here.
Against the Celtics, was it the Celtics game when he fucking missed the game winner?
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, you guys got to listen to it. It's a quick listen. I mean, I'm still going through it, but it's like 10 episodes maybe. Mind blowing shit though.
It's free money.
And all they worry about is the spread. All right, I got heated.
My only comment is we can't blame that pass interference on the Packers' loss. That's not why they lost. It was a bullshit call, and I agree with you. The narrative, I've said it all week. Fucking Tampa Bay Super Bowl, Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. It's just like, what are the odds? Storybook fantasy.
But look at this too. They got their GOAT. They got Tom Brady going to his 10th Super Bowl against the suspected, the new GOAT. They want that matchup.
I know.
They want it to be a passing of the torch. They're going to want Mahomes to win that game so it can be like Brady passing on the torch to Mahomes on his second Super Bowl. It's a perfect storyline. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers goes and wins the Super Bowl, it's good for football because a lot of people want to see Rodgers succeed, I think, because he's had a, pretty awful career with the Packers in terms of championships, but it doesn't draw as much fandom. It doesn't draw as much money.
Right. Yeah. And watching as a not a Packers fan, I threw my hands in the air watching that because I was texting you guys. I'm like, here it comes, like classic Aaron Rodgers comeback, and then they made the stop, and then here comes the flag, and I'm just like, what the?
5 minutes later.
Holy shit!
Dude, the one thing about and this is the last thing I'll say about that game, that penalty was, I had enough time to stand up, cheer. We were high-fiving because it was a pretty big stop, then the flag came on. And then if you look at the replay
already, and then they're like, no, everyone come back.
If you look at the penalty in the rule book, it says it's usually thrown if the ball is catchable. If you look at that ball, even if he had an extra step, that is overthrown and too far away from him. So I don't think it was a catchable ball, even if he wasn't touched.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think so. Drew, you are right, though. Like, they had plenty of opportunities. Like, Rodgers went over, yelled at the defense to make a fucking stop. They get a couple interceptions in a row, and we do absolutely nothing with it. So there were opportunities that were given to us.
But unfortunately, that's just the shitty thing about fucking sports, too. Like, they won't make calls all game, and then they'll make one at the fucking end. It happens all the time. Not with just the GOAT. It happens all the time.
Also, I was just gonna say, I don't know what was up Lazard's ass, but he
why didn't he catch that ball?
He fucked up so many plays yesterday. Like, he fucked up a screen. He was supposed to do an illegal screen for Adams. Instead of going under and chipping Adams' dude, runs over the top of Adams. That was on a touchdown. That's when Rodgers tried to go 3 times to Adams, and we ended up kicking the field goal.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I mean, Rodgers missed that first throw. He missed. Tunyon was wide open on the next one across the middle, just standing there wide open. Yeah. And then Lazard fucked up the chip play where he's supposed to screen the cornerback. So that's when Adams turned around and was bitching at him. That's who he pointed to. He's like, what? He was super pissed. Adams missed the free play throw to Rodgers missed the free play throw to Adams down the left side. Wide open.
I didn't see that.
There's plays he could have capped. That's when he threw it to Daphne. Who the fuck? Like, you throw it to this fullback looking ass, and
he's listed as a tight end. Give him some respect,
dude. Every time that there's a free play, Rodgers goes deep to Adams or MVS, and he throws it to Daphne, who's like double covered. I just don't get it.
Velma would have caught it.
Exactly.
So they did fuck themselves.
If someone from the future came to you and said the Packers are going to have 3 interceptions, Rodgers will throw for 350 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns before that game, would you put your money on the Packers?
Yeah.
That with those stats, you got to win. Like, you can't have 3 turnovers, have a good game through the air, and lose by 5. That's not acceptable.
And it truly doesn't come down to that one play, but it also kind of does.
Right.
Also, we should have gone for it on 4th, but whatever.
Quarter four.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about some funny, hypothetical sports scenarios. So, players playing in different sports, dream matchups, just weird shit. I'll give you an example. This is one that I thought would be pretty funny. Is having an NBA starting fives racing against each other in a 5x100 baton race. I think that would be pretty fun.
So really quick, Sean. So in my senior year of high school in Minnesota, we're not allowed to be in track because you have to pick a sport, either baseball or track. Same thing with golf. You can't be in golf. You got to pick a sport. And we made this big thing because like we were gonna race the track team, the baseball team versus the track team, and it never came to fruition because I don't know why. But thinking about it now, like people probably would have got hurt, or that would have been dumb. So it's kind of similar to that. So the track team playing baseball or us racing them, I think that we had a lot of fast guys. I'm not saying me necessarily. I was pretty quick at the time, but we had some pretty quick guys who should have been out for track. And but there is the form, there's the starting gun, there's all that stuff that I have no idea even what to do. But just imagine them playing baseball. It's the exact same. So anyway, keep going.
No, I'm just saying it would be funny. Another one, you could do like a 4x100 with like NFL linemen or some shit, like offensive lines, like doing that shit. Or like I had like NFL linemen playing tag on like those professional courses that they have, where they're trying to run over like bars and shit, like duck under shit. Like that'd be fucking hilarious still.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fair because that offensive lineman would be holding everybody from the Buccaneers. So their team would win for sure. Whatever. Fucking whiff. What a douchebag. I think what would be really fun is to get 2 starting 5s from the NBA and have them play hockey, like a regulated hockey game. One, because the skates make you taller than shit anyway. So, like, they'd go to check someone on the boards and they'd be so tall they'd flip over the glass or something because their knees are at the glass height. And it'd be funny to see Giannis on some skates.
Yeah, it would. I thought about the same thing, Cody. If hockey players played football, the game would take forever because they'd fight after every play.
It'd be like the Blitz. It'd be like an NFL Blitz.
Okay, I actually did some research here, and I'm not sure how I feel about this, but okay, so let's say LeBron James, okay? So let me give you his stature here. He's 6'9", he weighs 250 pounds, his vertical is 40 inches, and they don't do the 40 in the NBA, which sucks because I'd like to know that. But he says he can run a 4.6. Okay.
How many tears per minute does he have?
What's that?
Tears per minute?
He's averaging 0.5 per minute, I heard.
When he's crying all the fucking time?
Oh,
bitch ass.
Okay, but let's do who do you think is the biggest wide receiver in the league?
Currently?
Yeah.
The tallest or like what do you
just
think?
like who do you
DK
think?
Metcalf?
So DK's 6'4", 229. So like basically nothing on LeBron, but his
Julio?
he has a Julio's 6'3", 220.
Well, I thought he was bigger than that.
But DK has a vert of 40.5, which is better than LeBron's. So and he's faster. Anyway, so I was thinking maybe not LeBron as wide receiver, but what about a linebacker? That'd be
LeBron?
I think he would be a good tight
end. Yeah, tight end.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Yes, tight end. Because Aaron Donald, he's 6'1", 284. Just a freaking brick.
Try moving that, dude.
Big boy.
He runs a 4.68 40.
That's faster than us.
Damn, freaking wild.
That's faster than us.
So I'll move forward here, but this was actually on a part of my take. Shout out Big Cat. They did one about like making a handball team out of like all the players in the U.S., like any professional team, because like that's not really a sport we obviously watch. But
I play that every night before bed.
You're good at it. Anyway, they interviewed a handball guy and he said, no way. Like we've been playing this since I've been 4, blah, blah, blah. I think he's wrong, but handball is like not a sport where it's played on like a basketball court. So like conditioning and whatnot is like nothing. And like throwing styles and all this stuff. So I'll keep going. So like, but soccer, you have to be like really conditioned for that sport. I feel like the running involved and whatnot.
I think the skill in soccer outweighs the conditioning. It's like the things that those guys can do with a ball with their feet is just insane.
The accuracy and everything that you need is absolutely
it's crazy.
I mean, can you imagine like NBA players playing soccer? You think they would be good? I don't think they would be good.
No, I've seen Sean play soccer.
I mean, like you'll get some of those guys like Giannis. Like he wanted to be a professional soccer player growing up, like Steve Nash and shit. Like you'll have those outliers, but like, I mean, you'll have that for a lot of.
Did you guys see that highlight? It was Luka. Someone had heaved like a full court buzzer beater and airballed, and Luka ran underneath the basket this weekend, and he caught it with his feet, and he like caught the ball and started juggling it from a full court pass. he was able to control the ball control was impressive. You guys haven't seen that?
Europeans, jeez. So my next thing is there's always outliers, no matter how you look at it. But like let's use Randy Johnson, okay? Randy Johnson was 6'10", 225 pounds. Can you imagine some of these like basketball players pitching like Giannis or LeBron James? I guess he's 6'9". Like that wingspan throwing a ball there has to be something to it, right?
It'd be hilarious.
No, I'm being like Randy Johnson threw heat and he's 6'10". So does it have to do with height?
Is it just like repetition and it's all got to be on the release and like just the mechanics of it? Right. Like that's the thing, is like that's so broken down into like mechanics and shit. It's like, yeah, I feel like you could be any height.
Yeah, Pedro Martinez, he wasn't tall, like all that stuff. Roger Clemens, same thing, but just curious if there's something to it or not.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting. I think it was just like you said, there's those outliers, and I think it's just he was probably pitching, and he probably like was pitching before he was that tall, and like hit a growth spurt, and it just kind of like stayed the same, like as far as mechanics, and his arms just got a little longer.
Yeah, true that though. It's all about fundamentals. What I thought was cool was Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", 236. His vertical's 45 inches. I think that's one of the highest in the league.
Damn.
So with this conversation, which sport harbors the best athletes?
Ooh. We weren't prepared for this.
Welcome to
all
my
around
world.
Athletes?
Like, I think running backs in the NFL, the way they can bounce off tackles and keep their balance.
Said sport.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like I think that they're probably some of the better athletes on the field, being a running back or a wide receiver where they can evade tackles and catch the ball and everything. But then you look at basketball has really good athletes, but it's a different kind of athleticism.
I mean, you can say that about a lot of shit. Like, I guess like athletic ability, football probably has the most, I would say. Yeah, I think NFL does. I think NFL has the most athletic people. There's obviously crazy athletes in other sports, but I think that
they're definitely the most durable. Like I want to say strongest. I don't know if that's the right word, but like you said, Cody, running backs. Like how can they take hit after hit like that?
It is kind of crazy. Like some of those guys, like some of those hits they'll pop right back up. I'm like, damn, it's impressive.
So let's change. Okay, so like if NFL players played in the MLB, that doesn't really work, does it? Like if you didn't throw a baseball your life.
I mean, but it'd be fun to watch.
It would definitely be fun.
I mean, like there's outliers though, like Russell Wilson and like other guys who have either been drafted or like could have been drafted. So like I guess it just depends on like what
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a story, Drew. So when we were in college, I would put myself as being fairly strong and somewhat athletic. And we went back to Casson Manorville and we went to your old baseball field. And we were just trying to see who could hit over the fence. You remember that day?
I do.
And like I didn't swing a bat as often as you did. Like I didn't play baseball through high school. And it was hard. I think I got maybe one out of however many times we tried to even get to the fence. And you were consistently hitting them over the top. Not saying that you're weak or non-athletic, but it's like I feel like I was in really good shape and I just couldn't do it. There's a technique to it and there's something about it. It's like you can't just transition sports that way. Granted, that's a very low grade transition for us being binge drink college kids, but you know what I'm saying?
No, well, I'm gonna bring you up now, Cody, because you didn't play basketball in high school, and throughout intramurals, I watched you become the most improved player every single year.
I won that award. You're gonna tell me 12 years later?
You were MIP, man.
I won a trophy.
He was so good at getting rebounds, and me going, "Give me the fucking ball! Give me the ball! Give me." And he would give me the ball. It'd be great. No, he was though.
You got very good at shooting. You're a good basketball player, man.
When he first started, like I've never seen somebody like be so nervous with the ball, and then by like halfway through, like
I did go on a little tear there when I'd invite you guys over to Northwestern's campus, and I'd womp on you guys in some one-on-one.
You were good, man. You were in shape. I was freaking hungover.
But no, we'll give it to Tyler for least improved, right?
The most half-court shot in the game. Not when you need half-court shot.
Yeah, to sum this all up, wow. What I guess NFL is the hardest sport, right? I would agree with that.
I guess, yeah, this kind of got off track. But yeah, I mean, at most athletic. Some of those other scenarios, though, that I did have that I wanted to get out, like there were some individual ones that I had, which were like Tyson versus Ali, like Shaq versus Kareem, Kobe Jordan, Shaq Yao. You could also do like what would be pretty fun is like Shaq versus Yao in tennis or something like that. I think that'd be pretty fun to watch.
That would be funny.
And
It
then,
would be.
yeah.
It would be funny to have like NBA players in NASCAR, but they'd all have like hydraulics, so they're all bouncing their cars and no one's racing.
Jockeys, like horse jockeys. I think it'd be funny if they were like
Shaq being a jock.
that too. If they like jousted though, like the little dudes on horses, and then they jousted like in the old days.
Oh my gosh.
Like those things would mess them up. But like, and I think baseball players playing dodgeball would be kind of fun to watch. Like that'd be something cool to like actually watch. Like,
dude, they throw their arms out. You ever throw them like a wiffle ball as hard as you can? Freaking ouch.
You guys got anything else here? Any other scenarios, or what do you guys got?
Okay, so if there was a time where you get to pick 3 guys from the NBA to be on your NFL team, who would you pick? Carmelo Anthony.
I mean,
At center.
LeBron's probably a no. Fuck you.
At this age?
Yeah, just right now.
Currently, I don't think. I mean, LeBron's really, really good, and he's defying the odds. I mean, he's got a lot of wear and tear in his body. I think that he'd get hit if he got popped once. I mean, a 37-year-old tight end who hasn't been hit like that before would probably not do too well.
I think like Russell Westbrook would be like a good running back or some shit, just because he's just crazy, you know.
He'd be like Nelly. He'd be like Nelly in The Longest Yard.
Yeah. You just need someone
maggot
saying like that. And then Nikolai Jokic would be my quarterback because he just throws fucking dimes.
Dude, he does though.
He wouldn't move, but he has no.
That's a tough one. I feel like they're all tight ends.
Like, what about like Anthony Davis? Like, he's pretty tall, right? He's like 6'8", 9".
What the fuck's he gonna do?
Yeah,
Wide receiver, man.
He'd get blown up.
I looked
You
up.
want to get 6 yards off the line every time.
I looked up who's the fastest in the NBA, and there's like no stats. So like it's just like, oh, he can run up the court so fast, he can juke and jive. There's like nothing that explains it. They said Isaiah Thomas, he's like the fastest right now.
I think John Wall he's fast as hell.
But look, I think it'd be easier to go the other way. Like if you took NFL players and went to the NBA, I think there's a lot better chances of those people succeeding. Even though you do see a lot of kids come out of college playing basketball and get drafted as a tight end. I think Jermichael Finley played basketball.
Like D-Hop played.
Oh, that's interesting though, because like these verticals I'm talking about, LeBron's vertical is 40. I mean, how important is a vertical in the NBA? I would say a lot, right?
Yeah, very.
And Calvin Johnson's is 45.
Gosh, I wish he wasn't a Lion.
Damn, yeah.
Speaking of not being Lions, we didn't touch on Matthew Stafford not being a Lion.
Yeah, that's wild. All because of the OC, is that why?
Or is he coming to the Packers after Rodgers leaves us?
Do you want him?
No.
I think he'll go to the Colts.
You think so? He might.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nice fit.
Or he could go to the Bears. The Bears. Or he could go to San Fran. Or he can go to Houston.
All right. Should we do a quick overtime, guys?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do a quick overtime, some name game. I'll go ahead and spin right now. It almost landed on the Broncos, but it went to the Orlando Magic.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, goodness.
I'll go, then Drew, then Cody, if that's cool. What is... let me take it off that screen. Damn it, you fucker.
All right, let's take this.
All right, now I can see you. We're going to go with Aaron Gordon.
Markel.
Hey, Ron. Who are doing the Magic?
Who'd you say? Drew?
Markel. He said Markel.
Okay.
The Orlando Magic there. Okay, so we'll be Dwight Howard.
Nice. Vukovic.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, man. Isaacs. Forget his first name.
Hardaway.
Evan Fournier.
Nice. Jameer Nelson.
No, it's Cody.
Jameer Nelson. You took it right off the tip of my tongue, dude.
I hate you. That's a good one. Dude, good one to think of. Fuck. I hope that wasn't my last one I could think of. Oh, we're going to Stan Van Gundy. This shit is magic. Stan Van Gundy. Lil Wayne. Wheezy.
Oh, all right, I'm out.
I got a few Magic on my fantasy team.
God, it's like free money.
Horace Grant.
Damn. Ooh, Trace McGrady, baby.
Oh, yeah,
Let's
man.
go.
Is that what you were
Nice.
thinking of, Drew?
No.
Can you
Sorry.
finish us off, Sean?
Fuck. We're gonna go with damn, the Magic. It's kind of tough. It's harder than I thought it would be. Terrence Ross.
Yep.
JJ Redick was who I was fucking thinking of. I said
JJ.
JJ Barea. My bad.
All right. So thank you guys for listening. End of the episode here. Don't forget to follow us, subscribe to us, do all that. Leave us some reviews on Apple or whatever you listen on. Send us some topics or anything you guys are thinking of. We'll obviously keep pumping them out here, but we do want to talk about what you guys want to hear. Don't forget to go buy some merch. We have another sale coming up February 2nd through the 5th. It's going to be 20% off again. So take full advantage of that, Cody, and go to spreadshirt.com. The link is on our Instagram or any of our social media. Go check it out.
I do keep trying to go to buy gear, but I always type in Spread Eagle and then I get sidetracked.
Well, your wife has already bought something and you haven't. But all right. Well, thank you guys for another episode, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Brewing and we cooking, brewing and we cooking. Brewing and we cooking, brewing and we cooking. When I circle off the square glass, from the triangle for a star pass. New era in the scrimmage from the tip off. Sip and go, celebrate a smoky thick broth. Underdog, make it to the contender. Coming through this header when you're straight fender benders. Stopping in the octagon, swinging in circles. Research the game like your name's Steve Urkel. This game time, coach with a PT, B&B PC. Tap in and beat the Southpaw finna leave, y'all shook it. Y'all know the name.